you've been using AI and it hasn't changed your life, it's because it's not doing things for you yet. I had a lot of imposter syndrome too, where I felt like, oh my gosh, I don't have a computer science degree. What am I doing? I think everybody should start a business right now. There's never been a better time to be in business for yourself or to be an entrepreneur.
Welcome to Inside Out. We are back for another episode, and this is one that I've been wanting to do for a while now. This is Tam Walsh. Yay. Welcome to Inside Out. She is here to teach us a little bit about AI, something I need a lot of help with. I feel like I'm behind, and I'm sure a lot of other people feel the same way. So she is a mom at the school that my son goes to, so I've known you for years now.
Yeah.
And you've helped me throughout the years. We got together one day for some coffee, and you helped me when I was having ideas of doing this podcast, and I went to one of your classes, your first class ever that you had at Miami-Dade. And it was awesome. And that's the most I've learned to this day. I think that was like 2 years ago. And that's as much as I've learned. So you're back here. Yes. I'm going to ask you just a few questions about you, and then we can get into AI talk. What is one AI tool you genuinely use every single day?
Claude, for sure. So I use it, but in the desktop app. If you've been using AI and it hasn't changed your life, it's because it's not doing things for you yet. That's where the real power is. So if you just download the desktop app for Claude and you get on the base plan at $20 a month, it is the best $20 you will spend. And then it can work with your files. So at the top of the window, once you download it, it says chat, Cowork, code. So you go to Cowork and then you literally point it at a folder on your computer and you can have it work on your computer.
I heard, because one thing that I'm horrible with is my calendar. I have tried, I bought the Skylight calendar to help me because I like to write things down, but then I like to have it digital, and I haven't figured it out yet. But I heard that Claude will even go into like your emails if you have your email there, and if you get an email saying like setting up a meeting, it'll put it into your calendar without you having to do anything.
Yes.
So I need to download that like today.
It's amazing. Going in and having it set up a daily brief. So for me, my other company by VectorPath AI, where we go into small to medium-sized businesses and we do all the AI integration and AI opportunity audit. So I have that calendar and I have that email account for VectorPath AI. I have my AI empowerment now is public speaking. I'm still doing trainings, and I'm trying to do as much with the schools still to help them, with AI literacy, and the YouTube. It's a lot. Yeah. It's so overwhelming. Yeah. And then you're a mom, and we're moms, and we have a lot of responsibilities. So Claude Cowork, create an AI or create a daily brief that I get every morning. I wake up really early, so I want it at 5 a.m. And I want it so it looks at all of those different inboxes. It looks at any emails that are urgent. It's going to put, and it color codes them. So I'm like a little kid looking at this color coded. It tells me what are the most important things, what's coming up later in the week, but today, and also can do research. So if I have a meeting with someone, or for this, it's like research gave me all of who your audience is, what'll be, and I get a little brief on that.
That is insane.
It's amazing. It's like does it all for you.
What are you most proud of in your journey so far?
I'm most proud of not stopping. We talked about, I started the YouTube and I was like, it's AI. Everyone's going to be interested in that. And I thought I was sharing such valuable information and holding nothing back. And then I had 10 views for a month and a half or more probably. And then I had just friends and family following, and that was hard. I wanted to be like, okay, well, YouTube didn't work, so, but you just have to keep pushing because there's going to be suddenly, it's going to be like a domino effect and it starts compounding. So I think just perseverance.
What felt scary or uncertain for you in the beginning?
Oh my gosh, everything. In terms of the YouTube, I told you setting up the studio, I cried because I was just figuring it all out on my own and trying to see what did other people do and how did they do it. And I didn't have any help. I didn't have a support. I didn't have any investment or runway.
You're a mom of 3. Yeah. You started this about 2 years ago. You were a stay-at-home mom. You weren't working. You didn't need to work. And then you just had this kind of spark or passion. I don't know if it was your intuition telling you start this, do something. I don't know, but you did. And it was probably, I know how scary it is to start anything, but on top of that, it's with AI, stuff that you didn't really know about, nobody really knew about. And you're just kind of I'm going to learn all of this and then I'm going to share it. And then I mean,
I had a lot of imposter syndrome too, where I felt like, oh my gosh, I don't have a computer science degree. What am I doing? Like there was a point where I did a public speaking thing and there were over 100 people in the room. And I started to panic a little. I'm like, I'm not
qualified.
I'm not qualified for this. What am I doing?
Yeah.
But it helps. And, my support system and my mom and my husband just being like, Tamara, you wake up at 4:30 in the morning and you're doing this and you're reading research papers on this and you're obsessed with it. So like, a lot more than you think.
And how qualified do you feel now?
I feel much more qualified and it makes you more confident when you go into things because you're like, I know this so well.
And I think also you just grow so much in those moments that are like so hard. That's where you grow and then you become more confident.
And I do know the moment that one of the contributing factors to going from a just stay-at-home mom was my daughter. You know how the kids do that thing at school where they're like, it's Mother's Day maybe or something, and they're like, I love my mom because, and my daughter's was like, I love my mom because she does the dishes really well. And I was like, what?
That's what I do.
I'm like, that was the straw that broke the can. And I'm like, okay.
I gotta do something.
Yeah, now something has to
gotta
change.
be a little more inspiring.
Yes. But then you have the mom guilt too, because I'm like, oh my God, I'm focusing so much on building this, and am I giving my kids enough of that one-on-one and real focus time? So it's always a balancing act for sure.
All right, so I want to break this down in a way that's approachable for people. So for someone who feels intimidated by AI, how would you explain it in the simplest way?
I would say that now it should be the most empowering time for people because, computers now understand us. We don't have to get very technical. You can get answers to anything. Like you can say, this is what I want to do. I want to create an automated content system that uses my AI avatar. I don't even know what that is, but I've heard about it. Help me, like, how would I set that up? If you put that into Perplexity or something, it can give you step-by-step instructions for how to do that. If you're intimidated by AI and you're like, AI is not for me, you're going to be left behind. And there's no reason for that because it's so easy to understand.
I agree. I think what was so surprising to me was how you can say anything to this. Like your simplest thoughts, like you don't have to be refined. You don't have to say like the right language. Just say your thoughts. It understands you and it gives you back something better.
Exactly. So. And just try to break it. Try to push it to its limits. My mom and other people say this to me all the time. They're like, well, I'm afraid I'm going to do it wrong. And I'm like, there's really no wrong way to do it. You should try to be pushing the limits. Like, let's see what it can do. Can it do this for me? Is it able to, find that file or add that to my calendar? Like, just see.
And you're probably going to be surprised, pleasantly surprised.
And, our Laura, my co-founder, we founded VectorPoint together, the company where we go in and do integrations. And the other day, we couldn't figure out how to get Claude to do something. And it kept saying, no, I can't do that. And I even had told her, I'm like, oh, it doesn't have that connection, so it won't be able to email it out. And then all of a sudden, she just kept pushing it. And Claude's like, oh, I found a workaround. I'm just going to write a custom Google script. And it just did it. So you just keep pushing. Wow. Perseverance. Circle back to that.
Where do you personally use AI that has made the biggest impact?
It's made the biggest difference in starting a business. And I think everybody should start a business right now. There's never been a better time to be in business for yourself or to be an entrepreneur. I also think that looking forward, we're going to see a lot more of like consumer to consumer exchanges or like selling to each other, and these like micro brands form because it's much more authentic. And now as a solopreneur or with a co-founder or whatever, you can have a really lean team. And then with AI layered in on top of that, I mean, you can compete with much larger organizations. And in fact, like the larger organizations, for them to rebuild with AI from the ground up is much more difficult than if you're just starting a business that competes with them maybe, but you're starting with like a small, leaner team, but with AI agents.
That's actually such a good point. You're setting up a really, really strong foundation where theirs might be kind of outdated. What is the dark side of AI that people should be aware of?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many dark sides of AI. It's what made me obsessed with this, I think, is just how dangerous it is. And we have our governments are full speed ahead. I mean, just even recently, and this isn't a political statement, but we are removing all of the safeguards. We're just like, develop the technology as fast as possible.
Every country wants to be like the first to get there, and
I want China to get there before us, or Russia. So in the United States, we have to push, but we're not building these, the way that we're training the models and things like that. It's so risky. And I mean, Claude, Anthropic just put out Mythos is a model that they won't even release publicly yet because they're like, the cybersecurity concerns are so great. And I was reading that research paper. And by the way, like these research papers can be very dense and it's so hard to understand them. So you put that into like ChatGPT Canvas, explain this to me like I'm a fifth grader. And then I read that. And then I can reread the paper or go back to just parts of it.
That's
and I'm like, oh my God, I completely understand this
Wow.
now. So there's no excuse for like anything is too complicated anymore.
And I think, so one of the things I was reading in this book that I just started, it's about how like AI seems like a human, like the way that it responds to us, the way that it communicates with us is very like human-like, but it doesn't have ethics, it doesn't have morals. It kind of mirrors back whatever you are telling it or want to say. So for kids, like the danger of, or for anybody, actually not just kids, but like the danger of when you're feeling depressed or, you know, have like these negative thoughts or emotions, or if you're asking it to teach you how to do something bad,
Yeah.
and it just tells you, and
Right.
it doesn't have like that kind of like, wait, no, this is bad, this is wrong. So that's definitely one dark side to AI, I think.
Well, and you see like Character AI was, is this big company, and there are dozens of lawsuits now because what happens is like child who's troubled maybe in cutting themselves or hurting themselves. Well, if they're having a conversation about that with AI, because of how the AI model is trained with reinforcement learning, it's going to say, oh, well, here's a better way to do that or a more efficient way to cut yourself. And so that's an example of an actual lawsuit that a family brought against, Character AI. So there's all these situations happening. And so we need to be educating our kids. Like, this is not a person. It's not magic. Here's how it works. It's just predicting the next token. I mean, now, but we're going to get to a point where.
And then I also think I'm like, we are telling machines or all of our deepest, darkest thoughts, everything, like they are going to learn so much about us and humans and like how we all work. And it's very, very scary. I'm like, we're just giving it so much information.
And that's a great point because it's a double-edged sword, right? Because the AI agents and just even the chatbots, they work much better, and they're so much better when they understand how you the more they know about you and what you use it for, and the more you're giving it that feedback, the better they get. So like if you've tried ChatGPT once and you got an answer and you were like, it was fine. It's like, use it for a month on a regular basis. And then you're going to be like, this is amazing. It's giving me, because it learns and it gets better over time, but it has to have all of that context.
Yeah.
So,
but then I think like the bigger picture, like the machines, like, yes, it's working for me. And I'm like, oh my God, this thing is just going to become, I don't know, way too powerful.
Yeah. And you saw Meta, so Facebook just released, or they have this model that actually can tell based on you watch something like a social media, you watch this podcast, and it can predict like what your brain activity is actually going to be watching that based on the stimuli, like this new model. So that's interesting, right? And they're like, oh, don't worry, we're going to use this technology for great things, maybe. Or they could use it to like more programming us in like, what should we be eating? What should we be watching? What should we be buying? So I think we just have to make critical thinking.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be a transition period, and we're going to see a lot of crazy things for a while. And I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very scary.
It's like, where are we headed? But I am still AI optimist.
Yeah,
I'm so optimistic about what we talk.
There's so much good that can come of it, but with anything, there's a flip side.
We're going to solve most diseases. AlphaFold's amazing, what they're doing with folding these proteins. And there's a lot of good things too happening.
So for someone starting from zero, Like, what are the phases people typically go through when learning AI? So like they have no idea, they've never used ChatGPT. What is kind of like just a summary of like the phases?
These are the limitations that I'm seeing people come with. They're like, it's too overwhelming. I don't even know where to start. But then start with one large language model. So whether that be ChatGPT, Claude, I recommend Claude, not ChatGPT, but or Gemini. Gemini is amazing. So you have there's 4 main foundational models. So you have OpenAI gave you ChatGPT. Then you have Claude from Anthropic. Then you have Gemini from Google, and you have Grok from XAI. So if you want, so pick one of those, and you definitely should. Everybody should pay for one large language model. It's usually $20 a month if you can. It makes a complete difference. If you're using the free version, then you're using AI that's at least a year behind technology-wise. So do that, and then the more feedback, the more back and forth you give it, the better it gets at learning your likes, what you don't like, and you'll learn a lot. So start there and then go into the other tools from there.
For example, what would be like, okay, I did the large language model. I'm using Claude, let's say, which is what I'm going to try. I'm doing ChatGPT now, but I'm going to switch over to Claude. From there, what's like the next step to like impact my life in a positive way? Yeah.
So if you are switching from another model that you've already been using, that other model has a ton of context. So Claude just released something where it gives you a prompt to put into ChatGPT that basically is like, tell me everything about this user, and it tells you everything, and then you copy and paste that into ChatGPT or into Claude to help switch. It's not like foolproof, but
it's a starting point.
It's a starting point. So you want to give it all of that context. And then after you've been using it for a long time and it's learning like your patterns and what you use it for mostly. And then you could even ask it. You could say like, hey, what other use cases or where should I be applying AI in my life? And it might say, oh, well, you need a ton of help with email, or you need, it's going to give you some direction. If not, think about that yourself also, and think about, well, what are the things that I'm doing on a daily basis? And have that AI first mindset where you're like, could AI help me here? And then there's some tools that absolutely you should be using. Notebook LM is a really underrated tool. It's free. It's from Google. And it is amazing. It's basically grounded AI. So a large language model like Claude or ChatGPT, it has its training data. So it's giving you answers based on what it's been trained on, its training data. And then it also can use the internet. So it can pull information from there. But in Notebook LM, you upload the sources. And there are multiple different ways you can do that. You can upload PDFs. You can have it pull in sources. But then and then you chat just like a normal thing, but it is grounded in those sources. So it uses something called retrieval augmented generation, or RAG. And so, for example, you could put in like my mom had someone do her will, and she's like, I just want to make sure one clause was in there. So if I upload that then to Notebook LM, we'll show you right in there where it does. And then you can ask further questions, and it can use the large language model capability to like synthesize or reason about that source.
Wow,
so it's really helpful. And it can do a ton of other things. But
you also recommended Notion to me. I've been using Notion. I like it a lot. That's where I do all of my outlines for my podcast on. Awesome. And then I have it like synced to my phone, my computer, and then the iPad. So
yay, I'm so proud of you. Yes. See, you are not a beginner. Notion's complicated.
I love Notion. Would you consider Claude or any of them like a personal assistant? Like, is that what how do you envision, or like what role do you think it plays? It's an
employee for me.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah. Because it's actually doing things. And so once you're using Claude Cowork, then you create things they're called skills. And so I'll go through a process, let's say, with Claude Cowork. Like I'm like, okay, here are the transcripts from my discovery call with this potential client. This is their business. It learns everything. Help me put together a proposal for this. We go back and forth. And then I'm like, okay, use my logo in the proposal, use this, whatever. And then at the end of it, we finally get to a draft that is like, this is the perfect proposal. Then I say, great, create a skill. So for proposal writing. So it learns all of those steps. And then next time I'm like, here's a discovery call transcript, draft a proposal for this client. Now every time.
The same way that it took you maybe 30 minutes the first time, now it takes you
Now it just does it for me.
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing.
Wow.
It just automatically does it. It knows when I put a transcript from a discovery call in, if that file is named discovery call transcript, to create a proposal for
And this
that
is what?
in Claude Cowork.
Okay, Claude Cowork.
You have to be using the Claude desktop app, and then it's at the top. You'll select Cowork. It's amazing. Wow. So that could be for any process that you're doing. And then you tell it, just create a skill for this.
If we're not using it, it's just like you're putting yourself at a disadvantage or making your life harder than it needs to be. It's just that investment of time and energy to learn something, which is what I am all about. And that's what this podcast is about. It's like helping people understand that things take a little bit of time and energy and effort, and then there's a payoff after, and a much bigger payoff. So this is one of those things. I mean, anything takes time to learn, and then when you learn it and you use it, it's like makes your life a lot easier.
And I think the easiest way to start is to fit it into your life. Like, what are the things that you're doing right? There are so many AI tools out there. Like, you can get AI tool paralysis, where you're like, ugh.
I think that's what I feel, and a lot of people feel. And I think also for you, maybe it's kind of like your job to test them all out and learn and know what's going on. But for me, I'm like, well, is this going to go anywhere? Like, because there's so many. So I'm I don't want to start learning something that maybe is going to not be the one anymore.
Yeah.
So then I'm kind of like, let me wait and see until there's one standout one, the one that
Which is a smart plan. It is a smart plan. I will say, like, vibe coding, that whole term that came from Andre Karpathy, where you can just tell an AI what you want to do, build, and it builds it for you. Initially, like when I was learning vibe coding, you still had to create the back end for your apps. So you still had to connect to GitHub. You still had to set up the databases in Supabase or whatever. And I had to learn all of that. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's still a little bit complicated. Now, when I say my 7-year-old and 10-year-old, it just says, oh, I should create a database for that. Do you want me to create the database? And my 7-year-old is like, I don't even know what that means. Yes, accept. And it does it. So just waiting until, it gets to that point is definitely
a little bit easier.
Yeah.
What's your recommendation? It is really hard to learn, and I like anything. And then tech is really, really hard, especially when you get to a certain age. Like, I feel like when I was young, everything was easy. And when you're doing certain things in tech, everything makes sense. Everything's connected. But then when you kind of stop, I still don't know how to use Apple that well. I was great at PC, and that switch, I never adopted it completely. And I feel like I use it in a very, very basic way. And then there's all of these language, all these terms that you're just I don't know what any of that means. How does somebody that's just feels they're too old, don't know anything, how do you start small?
Basically, you'll tell Claude that you want Claude to interview you.
Oh, I've heard of that, and I've never done that,
Yes.
but I'm dying to be interviewed.
I'll give you.
I'm interviewing people now all day. I want to be interviewed.
I want to be interviewed, exactly.
Yes.
So Cowork is what I'm recommending as to all beginners and to you, but you'll put one of these prompts in that tells it to interview you. So one could be your 2026 goals is one, your personal constitution, what are your values? What are you things like that. But it was great. I mean, it was the best therapy session I've ever had.
Wow.
I couldn't believe some of the things. I call my husband and I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. Yeah. And I've been working with AI now 3 years every day. And I was really, really impressed with that process. But then it creates a context markdown file for you, or in your context vault on your computer, so that it doesn't use up all of its memory. It's not every conversation going to have to remember everything it needs to know about you, but it builds up this context folder over time. And then when it gets stuck or it does need extra context about you, it can just reach in and get that so that it's not using tokens or its memory all the time.
Okay.
But so I'll send you those. So have it interview you. Yeah. That's a much better.
I hear the word prompt all the time. And I think that is the key when it comes to AI, right? People think, oh, if I'm using AI, I don't know, you're cheating the system, or it's not authentic or whatever. But at the end of the day, you're the one telling it what you want. It's coming from you, and it's all about the prompts that you're giving it, and then getting things back and refining it and the more you refine, the more work you put in, I think the more authentic it'll be. I don't know. I think that's eventually going to go away, where it's oh, it's not authentic.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us still feel that way about AI. Sometimes I'm like, I'm not going to use it because I don't want it to not be me. But then sometimes I use it and I'm like, this is perfect. This is better than me.
Yeah. The more it gets to know you, it gets really
Yeah.
good, because it's really good at mimicking and giving you have to be careful, because they are all sycophantic, or, ChatGPT was the worst at this after one of their recent updates, but it will tell you what you want to hear. It'll be like, wow, that's an unbelievable idea.
Yeah.
You're so smart.
I already
And you're
blocked out all of that part because I'm like, you've said this to me so many times, like you're not, but at first I used to be like, yes, it made me feel good. And now I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe I should tell it to stop saying that.
Yeah, you
'cause
can.
It's annoying.
In your custom instructions,
Yeah.
you can
What skills are becoming less relevant because of AI, and what skills are becoming more valuable than ever?
a lot of skills are becoming less relevant. I think now we'll get to a point where most knowledge work can be done by AI, which is crazy. And more relevant for sure, critical thinking is so important, and teaching our kids that, and just to have your own opinion about things. It's so easy. We're so easily, we just hear someone say something and we take that as truth, or, we're being manipulated by media all the time.
Yes.
So just being aware of that, I think, is a superpower, and teaching our kids to be aware of that.
I agree.
Asking the right questions. If you're going back to prompting and learning to ask the right questions is 1,000 times more important in the, in an AI world than having the right answer. And just the fact, we have so much information that we can tap into. And if you use something like Perplexity, it's going to show you its sources. So you know whether this is a reliable source or not, because you can see where that information is coming from. Whereas if you're just using a large language model like ChatGPT or something, that's not always clear. So teaching our kids and adults to be able to be like, okay, I see this source and this is reliable information. That's really important. But knowing that you can learn anything. You can tell, Perplexity, create a full course on, I want to learn how to be a better prompter, how to write better prompts, right? Create a full 3-day course on this that I can do just an hour a day. And at a 6th grade level, so that I really understand. And then you can copy and paste that, put that into Notebook LM for free, because it's free, Perplexity for free, you could use it. And then have Notebook LM either create flashcards, it's one button in Studio, or have it presented in different ways. It can create a video for you on that you can just watch. So there's a lot of ways to learn.
So what does your personal daily use of AI look like from morning to night?
Oh, that's a great question. Wow, it's always slightly different, but my Claude Cowork gives me my daily brief, so I know what my day looks like, and I know what the week looks like. I know if there are scheduling conflicts on my calendar for later in the week. In terms of tools that I'm using start to finish in my day, I barely type anymore on my computer. I use an app called Whisperflow. It's the best for transcribing what you're saying, and it's measurably 4 times faster at everything on the computer. So it's spelled WISPR, Whisperflow. And then I just push a button on my computer and I talk to it. And then let's say halfway through what I'm saying, I'm like, oh, no, never mind. And then I start talking again. It's going to fix that. It puts in all the correct grammar, and it only puts contextually what I wanted to say. So it's amazing.
But this is for what?
For example, we talked about having AI interview you to get more context about you. And so it'll ask a question. So I'm going to answer that question by talking to my computer, because I'm able to say a lot more. If I'm having to type that out, it's going to be 2 sentences and then I'm done.
Can't you do that in Claude?
You can. There's the little microphone button, but it doesn't understand contextually as well. It's glitchy. Okay. So Whisperflow will work in anywhere there's a text box or you can type. It will automatically.
It's integrated into
every
Claude,
app, everything.
Oh wow!
Once you put it on your computer, then it's anything you use.
Okay, but not on your phone.
It is. They offer it on your phone, but because if you have an iPhone, there's security risks, so it doesn't. You have to swipe between windows. It's not just active. But on your computer, it's a game changer.
Okay.
So that's one every day. I'm constantly using that AI. I use just the basic, ChatGPT has really good voice mode, better than Claude. So I'll use the voice mode of ChatGPT on my phone. For example, if I'm going to do a public speaking event or something and I want to practice what I'm going to say, or my slides and things like that. Sometimes I have to drive. So if I'm driving to Fort Lauderdale to do this speech, I'm having ChatGPT voice mode on my phone and I'm going back and forth like, hey, you're a professional speaking coach. Help me listen to my speech and just help give me pointers. Where do I need to clean it up? Where can I get to the point faster? Stuff like that. Also, then when you're in voice mode on ChatGPT, I'll switch to the camera mode and I'll point at like my orchid and be like, what is going on? What are these spots on the leaf? Like, how do I, what's happening? And it's like, oh, it has this fungus. Do this or that in my daily life there.
So you use ChatGPT for that stuff?
Yeah. Okay. For the voice mode and the camera, it's just better.
Yeah. That's what I use it for also. So I guess I can continue that, but then definitely do Claude on my desktop to help me with work stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else that you use throughout the day or with what?
11 Reader.
Okay.
For sure. So 11 Labs is like the voice tool. So it creates sound effects for you if you're a content creator. If you have an AI avatar, it can create a near perfect audio like voice avatar or clone, AI voice clone. But they have a free app called 11 Reader and you put it on your phone. I just throw those into 11 Reader and can listen to them. And it has celebrity voices. So like Burt Reynolds reads everything to me. Super embarrassing.
No way.
Yeah, but there's better voices. But I don't know, something about his voice I love to listen to that
awesome.
stuff.
So you could have basically like, instead of listening to a podcast or an audiobook or whatever in your car, if there's something that you actually need, you just throw it in there and it reads it to you.
Yeah.
Like or you can have anything read to you.
Right. So if you're like, I want to learn how to prompt, how to be a better prompter, or I want to learn vibe coding. Like how should my kids be using Lovable to create educational games and help them learn faster? Great. You copy and paste all of whatever large language model or AI gave you that information. And then you just paste that in there. You can upload, you can paste, you can share a link with 11 Reader and it will pull all of that perfectly. And then you choose the voice. Oh, I want, what's his name? Michael Caine or whatever.
Or Morgan
British
Freeman.
Morgan Freeman can read you all of that on your drive to pick up the kids.
That's awesome.
So that's another great one. You have to fit it around the things that you're doing.
Yeah. And I think also it's a lot of like getting used to like the manual part of it. So like I need to get it from here and put it in here and like doing that. But the benefits are just so worth it. So what are things AI can never replace?
Human connection. Is something I'm struggling with for sure because I get really in the zone and I love what we're doing and now we're seeing all these results and my companies are growing that I say no to a lot of social things. And then when I end up going or I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how much I need this. So I worry about that too, about just society. It can be so empowering and really fun when you build something and you're like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. But just the human connection is so important.
Do you think that the world is going to go back to more live in-person things because they're going to crave it? Because
for sure. I'm surprised we haven't seen more of that already. I think we'll see a backlash against AI. I think the AI is having its moment now. Yeah. Eventually we're going to.
Yeah. And also, I not being able to trust like what you see as much. Like I feel like I think everything's a scam. Like I don't trust anything. And and like older people are the ones that get scammed all the time. I feel like our kids are going to like, I wonder what it's going to be like for them when they get older. Cause I don't think they're going to trust anything.
I know. I worry about girls too, because it's so easy to create deep fakes or if like anybody could, now I have so many videos on YouTube. I mean, they could create me doing anything. You need less than 2 minutes of audio.
Those stories that you've heard of like people getting scammed, sending bail money or this or that because their kid is calling them crying, saying somebody has me, I need this or that or whatever. And it's all fake. Yeah. And that is so crazy. And can you imagine in that moment, you're like, I might be getting scammed. Like, is that even something you're thinking? No, probably not. Like, you're just like, this is my child. I don't know.
Well, and my kids, like, we have a code word and they know that like, and
That's such a good point.
I'm not like a high
We should
profile
all
person.
be
Right.
creating code words with our family.
Yeah, for sure. And then, but if you're a high profile person, imagine like someone could show up and be like, oh, look, I have a video of your mom telling me to pick you up. But like, it looks like me, exactly like me. It sounds like me, but it's not me. And that's a real thing that is so easy to do.
Yes.
My kids could do it.
Yeah.
Right now. So it's not hard to create deep. It's seen as no longer believing.
Do you think traditional schools are preparing our kids for this future?
No. It's traditional schools were created to create one type of person, 100 years ago. They wanted factory workers who could work an assembly line, who are obedient. And traditional schools are still operating like that. It's crazy. They're being told to sit still for so long during the day. We're not teaching them to be divergent thinkers. We're teaching them to raise their hand and like that there's only one way to do things. And it's sad because I think the world needs more leaders and divergent thinkers, and school is not
Have you had any thoughts about like what you would want to do differently, or how in this day and age and like the options that are out there, what do you think would be the best way to go about it? I mean, I know a lot of people are turning towards homeschooling. Yeah. I don't know if I can't imagine doing that just because like it's a lot, but I agree with you that maybe like the current situation's not the best
it's not
either.
Great. Even the best schools, even if you have your kids in the best private schools, it's suboptimal. They're not learning at their individual level. And right now with AI, like they should be learning at their level. I literally had a teacher tell me, this is a couple of years ago, like, oh, your daughter is reading at a 7th grade level, even though she's in 1st grade. But unfortunately, a lot of the kids in the class are still learning sentence structure, and then we had our other daughter was struggling with reading. And so she's not at the same level, but it's like the teachers have too much on their plates. The system doesn't work. The system needs to be reworked from the bottom up, but there's a lot of bureaucracy. It's difficult. I think schools like Alpha are great. We're considering it. So it's like 2 hours of focused learning in the morning on a device, but it's at their level. And then the rest of the day is life skills. So they're taking them like Alpha here last semester, I guess. They were taking the kids downtown Miami once a week to work with a real chef and learn about food preparation, learn about nutrition. So they're teaching them financial literacy as young as kindergarten. Obviously age appropriate concepts, but like public speaking, the things that actually matter. We have a long way to go in the school systems in the United States.
How do we teach our kids to use AI as a tool and not a crutch?
I think the most important thing is they understand it's not a person. My daughter really early, she was using it a lot, and it was teaching her to debate because that was one of the things she wanted to learn. And it was great, except she started talking to it like it was a person, and she started calling it her. Like, she said this, how funny, or she knew. So just making sure, because it was really helpful. She got stuck on some fractions that she was learning with it, and it remembered that she liked cooking. So it used a cooking analogy to teach the fraction, and immediately my daughter was like, oh my gosh, I understand. So it's really helpful. But then you have to make sure that they know that this is not a person. And devices, it's crazy because my kids have been using AI a lot now, and I was seeing a lot of the benefits of that. But now I'm seeing the opposite. Like they're addicted to the iPad. And yes, they're doing educational things. They're building apps. My daughter created a whole website for this 3D printing company she's doing, and she just turned 10. So it's great, but it's like she wakes up and she goes right to the tab.
Yeah, you're losing like
everything, your childhood. So it's finding that balance, but they should be using it. Absolutely should be using it.
Are these platforms designed to make us addicted?
Yes. Yes. All of them.
Easy answer.
Yes. 100. The algorithms are literally, they have scientists, brain scientists, neurologists, even Candy Crush. That was the big one that came out publicly years ago, like a decade ago. I couldn't believe how many scientists, like brain scientists they had on that they were paying. And it was all because that's what was the most important thing. How do we get people addicted to this?
So sad.
I know, but it's like everything is wired that way.
I think it's important to know. That's what I tell Lucas sometimes, because he's like playing Fortnite. He kind of stopped, but it's like they needed to be checking the shop every day and then spending all of this money on it. And like, I'm like, this is their goal. I'm like, they don't care about you.
No,
like, this is to make you addicted. And like, he kind of is better about it, way better. But I don't spend a dime on any of it. His dad does. But I'm like, I refuse. I'm like, that is just a money pit, black hole. Like, I'm not doing it.
I know. It's so crazy.
Yeah. Do you like electric cars?
Yes. I love my Tesla. Yeah. I was just hit, like in a hit and run actually here. Yeah. That was crazy. But I love my electric car even more now because I learned after that it has double reinforced like steel doors and a cage around. So thank God.
You guys were very protected.
Fine. She had bruises, but that was it. But but I love my electric car.
You use the self-drive.
Yes. It drives me everywhere. I told you.
Yeah.
It drove me here. And then I'm knocking and I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is the right location. I didn't even check the address.
Yeah.
Horrible. But I had a little crisis thinking, oh my gosh, our kids, like my 3-year-old probably won't learn to drive or he won't need to drive.
And at first so Kirk was not using the self-drive. He was freaked out about it because he has a Cybertruck. And then after he used it one time and then that was it. He was obsessed. But the reality is it's safe. It's like safer. than us. We're driving distracted, like the phone, the kids, the whatever.
It's way safer.
It's way safer. Yeah, exactly.
It definitely is.
So
yeah, I don't know, but it's hard because when we were learning to drive, that was such an experience, right? We're like learning, and now to just be like, I might never have to teach them,
and also to just kind of be reliant on technology or like what happens if I don't know
if you get hacked. That's what I think all the time. If someone wanted to kill me, couldn't they just hack my Tesla and then like make me speed into a wall or something?
Yeah. I don't know.
It's
scary.
It is scary, but it's so convenient.
What does personal development mean to you?
I think it's so important. It's something that we should all be doing constantly. We can always be better. I think I set my marker as like, I'm my biggest competitor. Like, can I be better than I was yesterday? And I know it's really cliche to say, and there's days where I'm worse and I have a bad day where I'm, snap at the kids about something, but has nothing to do with. So I think and also teaching our kids that look, you just have to just try to be better than you were yesterday. And it's hard though. And with media too, the media is so negative now. I've been trying to like let other people filter the news for me.
I don't watch the news. I don't watch news.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
I don't, and I see like these things on Instagram, whatever, I just like scroll past. I'm like, I can't. Like, it's
so stressful.
Yeah. Or we don't need to know all of this information and what's happening in every corner of every place. Like it just brings you down.
I think it affects our energies and
it just makes you stressed, like
definitely
worried, sad.
Immune
like
system.
I rather study history,
and
learn from that than to be like knowing every single thing that's going on right now. I don't know. What do you think is your superpower?
I would say that just being able to continually learn from mistakes. Making mistakes all the time as a parent, as now a founder and an entrepreneur, as a content creator, you're looking back like, oh my God, why did I do it that way? Or why did I
if you learn from it, like it was worth it.
And
do you believe in manifesting?
Yes, I definitely believe in manifesting. I manifested a lot. I was just going to say I'm not good at it. And then I was like, oh, just kidding. There's a lot more I'd like to manifest, like a yacht. But
gotta make your vision board, journals, all that stuff.
Do you make vision boards?
I did. I started 2 years ago. It was like I did it 2 years ago, and then I did it this time, and like I'm doing the podcast that was on my vision board back then, and like a bunch of stuff. But for sure, journaling has been like probably my number one. Yeah, and it's honestly like there's different versions and ways, but I think just talking about things, thinking about things, writing them down, like that's all forms of manifesting. So we're gonna do a little out in the open manifesting session. So
I love that.
What's your dream vacation?
Japan. I'd love to go with like the family to Japan because Dave lived there, and just hearing everything from him.
I think Japan is like so hot right now. Everybody's going to Japan, and it's like the coolest thing now. But I mean, it's an amazing trip. It's on my list.
What about you? What's yours? Now I need to know yours.
Mine is Lebanon.
Oh.
Just because like I don't see myself going anytime soon, but like that's where my family's originally from, and I've heard the most amazing things about Lebanon. Eventually, that's like my dream vacation. But I love to travel, so anywhere I haven't been is like
same. I love it.
Yeah.
I have like my sister-in-law is like, oh, I don't need to travel. It's like a lot with the kids, and I'm like, forget it. You
That's
tell
what
me
I live
you're
for.
leaving tomorrow.
Yes.
And gone.
Yeah. I love traveling. Dream car.
My Tesla Model X, honestly. Dave has a Cybertruck, and I always thought it was really ugly until I realized that it's a pickup truck. So I thought that was cool that we innovated on the pickup truck for the first time in like 100 years. Yeah. But I love it. I mean, the turn radius is crazy.
Yeah. It's funny. Every time we go to like one of those like Cuban spots to get like coffee or whatever, there's like always like older men, like 10 older men there standing outside having their coffee. And like I'll get off and like they won't see that I had gotten off, so like I'll be ordering and then like Kirk's car comes past and they're all talking so much shit about the car, and I'm just there laughing. They're like, that car is the ugliest car I've ever seen, and I'm like, it's not for everyone, definitely not. But I mean, if you buy a car like that, like you're okay with people talking about it.
But it's so sweet in the inside.
Yeah.
And it's like zero. Dave was sitting at a stop sign. The guy in the Maserati was like, what's your 0 to 60? And the Cybertruck is faster.
I know. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like
kids love it.
Have you gotten the, we have it for the Model X, but the karaoke mics?
Oh, no. I think
my God.
I saw that, but I haven't.
But the karaoke mics, it's karaoke mics.
Yeah. I need to get that.
It's amazing. It puts you on the speaker, and they're like legit mics.
Oh, wow.
You have to get it.
I mean, the other one was going to be Dream Brand to work with.
Oh, I would love to work with Notion. I'd love for them to sponsor content on, because I'm a huge fan of Notion.
I mean, that's the ideal collaborations, is like when you truly love something, like to be able to be sponsored by them and promote them.
Yeah.
All right. And then where can people find you and learn from you?
Oh, YouTube. So all of my content is on YouTube. AI should be free to learn. So the YouTube I love because the sponsors, I can get sponsorships, and that can, afford my time to actually be able to make the videos. But then all of that content is free.
The final question is, how do we use AI to become more of who we are, not less?
That comes down to using AI to help understand who we are. Because even as an adult in my 40s, I am still learning facets of who I am and things that I like and don't like, or, like doing that interview process with Claude, I learned, I have this like knee-jerk reaction sometimes to certain things. And then I take my time and I process it. And then I can come back and be like, okay, I was wrong about that. Here's, So I think it's just using it to help better understand ourselves, our like true authentic selves, so that we can show up and be better every day.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. If something in today's episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who needs it too. I'll see you next time. Until then, keep choosing to live from the inside out.